Hello, survivors. Welcome to the State of Decay 2 stream. I'm your host, Geoffrey Card, and now you have had 3 weeks to play in Trumbull Valley, and we've been avoiding talking about certain aspects of the Trumbull Valley experience because we wanted you to discover them on your own before we started blabbing about them. So, spoiler alert, if you are playing through the Trumbull Valley content and you don't want to know any of the rewards and prizes that come with exploring the map, completing all of the missions, we're going to be talking about all of that stuff today. Along with me here to get through a lot of this stuff are our experts in making rewards, starting with Dan Mode. Dan Mode was the lead of the team that built the weapons and costumes and a lot of the facilities and things like that that went into the game. Dan, how are you doing?
I'm excellent, Geoffrey. How are you today?
I'm doing great. I'm feeling good. I'm excited to finally be able to talk about basically everything in the homecoming update. So we've been holding off for a long time. Yeah. So let's also introduce your partner in crime, Mark Lautenbach. He was the artist who came up with a lot of the branding around our factions, and he worked on a lot of these guns and just tons of the art that's in the game. How are you doing, Mark?
I'm doing great.
Awesome. And we've also got, as always, Brant Fitzgerald. Oh, excuse me, Brant. So Brant has got a friend with him today. So Brant, of course, he worked on the bases, which means that he built a lot of our facilities. We're going to be focusing on one particular facility that we're excited about today. So Brant's here to talk about that and just to, answer all of your questions about all of the things. So, of course, while you're watching the stream, if you're watching it live, feel free to send questions to us. The mods are forwarding them to us, and so we're going to try to answer as many of them as we can as we go. I should get the game started here. So, yeah, let's quit screwing around. Let's get into the game and start talking about some of this stuff. So, we already went over, in a previous stream, the Trifecta Pack, which was a big pile of new weapons and backpacks that were added to the game with the Homecoming update. They all came from the Bounty Broker, and you could get those anywhere on any map. At the same time as we were developing those, though, we also developed a set of weapons and items and rewards that were exclusive to Trumbull Valley. Trumbull was the only place you could get it, and we haven't gone over those yet. So let me just start with one of my characters here. I've outfitted an entire community with just the stuff that was especially available from Trumbull Valley. So this guy here, this is Geronimo, and he has got a beautiful thing on his back here. You can't see it because I need to wait for the silly tutorial message to go away. But right there, what is that? Mark, do you want to identify this gun for us?
That is the FAL. It is a was it 5.56? Yes.
I believe so.
7.62?
Oh, no, 7.62. Yep, it's a 7.62.
And what is its nickname? The right arm of the free world?
Right arm of the free world.
And so I thought that'd be appropriate for the network because, that's kind of their thing.
Yeah, that's true.
It's seen some use. It's got some different parts from different guns. It's well worn.
Yeah.
But it is the pride and joy of its own.
Yeah, so we'll notice that the audience should notice that as we're going over these, that some of these guns are sort of themed to the network, and some of them are themed to Red Talon. I'm curious, how did you guys approach the difference in character between those two sets of weapons? Like, if you're carrying a network weapon, what should you expect to be different about that network weapon as opposed to a Red Talon weapon?
Network, most of them have seen some days. And just, guns you'd be very just proud to own. You keep them with you.
They feel like well-loved, well-worn.
Yeah, and kind of a little bit of a status symbol, like, this is someone that someone who is high up in the network or whatever would have, or, something to that effect. And they all have that symbol on it.
Yeah, so this is actually a new thing.
Basically,
yeah,
it's kind of like the somewhat secret symbol of the network.
Yeah, and actually, one of the reasons it's somewhat secret is because it's brand new to the Homecoming update. Look, we've had the network in the game for a long time, but they didn't really have any symbology the way that Red Talon kind of did. And so you actually created this for the special weapons in the Homecoming update, and then once you developed this logo, we started peppering it all over the place. Because it looks really nice, right? I mean, it's that beautiful little like connected nodes, but it's an N. It's like it feels like a really good piece of logo work there.
And I pictured like someone like drawing some circles in the sand, and then if they ran across another network person, they would connect the dots to make the end, and therefore you would kind of know that this is someone in the network.
It's like a call and response type password sort of thing.
Yes.
That's cool.
But now it's plastered on the side of buildings, so it's not really secret as it once was.
It might have started out as a secret thing, but now that the network is kind of becoming one of the de facto governments on the frontier, it can't be as secret anymore.
Yeah, one of the other things about the difference between the network guns and, say, the Red Talon is the networks are all tried and true. They've been combat tested. They've, been in service in some cases for 50 years. But they're still in service today with some militaries because of their reliability and the availability of parts on the world market and things like that.
Yeah, you get the sense that the network has got a really strong sense of like, each community being able to sort of be self-reliant and they can take care of and maintain their own weapons. Whereas Red Talon has a much more like kind of an industry behind supplying weapons to their troops.
Well, and that expertise lies entirely in Dan Mode's area of influence. He's sort of our resident expert on what's new and cool coming down the pipeline. All the latest stuff. So Dan can talk about some of the things about the Red Talon guns because he's up on all that.
Speaking of Red Talon guns, I've got a Red Talon gun right here, the APC-9RT, which you will notice has got a magazine now. What can you tell us about this gun, Dan?
Yeah, so the theme to the Red Talon stuff was like modern military contracts, new next generation weapon systems. And we thought that would be like a really good contrast with the tried and true classics that the network has. So there's a lot of new slick technology. And so the APC-9 is kind of like the modern replacement of the MP5. And figured it would be a really solid weapon for State of Decay.
And one thing that I actually forgot to point out is that each of these characters is also carrying a melee weapon. So not only do we have these new network and Red Talon guns, but we've also got some melee weapons that are inspired by various aspects of Trumbull Valley. Mark, do you want to tell us a little bit about Eli's mighty socket wrench here?
Sure. So in the original game, you had the big ass wrench was just a gigantic, was an open-ended was a box wrench.
Yeah, it's a kind of wrench you can feel like just could be like stamped out. Basically, it's just the simplest possible shape of a wrench.
It's something that you would fix like semi-trucks with. So we wanted another big ass wrench that Eli would also use. So I happened to be cleaning out my grandpa's garage and I found this thing.
It's enormous socket wrench.
The original.
It's super old socket wrench, and it looks like something that could cause some damage. And so I put that in the game as an homage to Eli and also an homage to my grandpa.
So did you use it as reference and model and text it yourself, or did you actually like scan it in?
I used it as reference. I made it. It's a little bit bigger than the one I got in my hand, and the handle's a little bit different.
Just a little bit.
Gives you some grip. But it's in the line of a few things that I got from my my grandpa's garage. You may recognize this bad boy.
Look at this
the
thing.
hog splitter.
Yeah, let's see that blade. Holy crap.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. It's super rusty. I should probably clean it up a little bit, but it's just got that natural, like it's been in the barn for several decades rust to it. And
so if anyone out there has played with the hog splitter, you know exactly what weapon we're talking about. That thing is amazing.
Yeah, as a side note, if you visit Mark's house, it's actually really dangerous to walk around in there because there's so many like old rusty weapons lying around.
Yeah.
You don't want to trip on anything.
One of those, like, I have no idea what this is for, but it looks super awesome. Took me a while to figure out what the hog splitter actually was, and that's what it's called. It's called a hog splitter.
Make sure you're up to date on your tetanus shot.
Yeah.
Hey, we've got a question from Dutch Daily. Are the weapons unique to Trumbull Valley only available to be found once?
So the ones that are integrated into the discovery system, I believe that yeah, like there's a certain place where you get that weapon, and that's the only place where you get that weapon, I believe.
So that's once per save, or
yeah,
once per
community basically, once per community. I think.
And then some of these weapons are in Gen Pop loot. Sorry, the general loot table. So you will find some of those in other places as well.
Yeah, unfortunately, I don't feel like I've got a solid list right now where we could precisely tell you which weapons in which category. So, but if when you find a weapon, your character says something out loud and reacts to getting the weapon, that means it's a discovery. And that means you didn't find it using normal loot. And so you can probably assume that if you found the weapon that way, there's probably not a lot of them out there to find elsewhere in the world. So take care of that weapon. It's a good one. Keep maintaining it.
Hey, Brant. MRD Gaming asked, how exactly did you land on the name Red Talon? Was there an inspiration behind it?
So that goes back to the wild, crazy days of
Lifeline. Yeah.
When we were really beefing up the story behind the Weston Group, being sort of that Walmart own everything under the sun kind of corporation. Mm-hmm. And I made a bunch of logos and fake companies that were under the Weston umbrella that covered food distribution and medical supplies and all sorts of stuff. And then I had just watched a documentary on Blackwater, and so I figured, hey, they'd be into the PMC thing as well. And so I made an executive protection group, and I wanted it to sound like a PMC. So I looked at the names that were available, and Red Talon seemed like it fit. So it was just me trying to come up with a logo, and eventually it turned into, something bigger.
So one of the network weapons that we've also got, you can see it on his hip right here. It looks like, not if I'm covering it with plants, you can't. But right there, you can kind of see that. There's a little network logo on this gun. What is this? Mark, do you want to tell us about this gun we've got on our hip?
Sure. That is the Scorpion. So it's the old Scorpion.
Scorpion 61.
Scorpion 61. Yeah, it was designed for guys in a tank. They needed something very small that had a lot of firepower. So if their tank stopped, they could all ditch and have something that was had enough firepower to get them off the battlefield. So yeah, shoots super fast, has a bunch of bullets, but it is a pistol.
And you'll notice that a lot of the network stuff that you'll find is European, including Russian firearms from the Soviet era, things like that. Again, it was all about tried and true, tested, been around the world, and many of them are still in use today. So,
and like just workhorse weapons.
Yeah.
So one thing I should do, actually, if we want to test out some of these weapons as we go, we should probably make this a more target-rich environment. I put it in green zone while I was setting things up, but I should probably switch that over so that we can run out there and find some zombies to shoot. Yeah, so the Dutch Daily was asking a really similar question. Is there a reason behind it that a lot of the network weaponry feels like it's Cold War inspired? And you're saying that it's because these time honored weapons from Europe that have a lot of available parts, and that people, because I think because in Europe they've got sort of like a standardized set of ammunition, a bunch of standard stuff going on that that make you feel like, I don't know. You talk about this better than I can. Never mind. I'm going to stop trying to say things.
If you opened a
loot box, have kind of a unique feel to them, and a lot of the hard-to-find European weapons kind of have that vibe. Like, you're not going to find, FALs all over the place. You're not going to find Dragunovs all over the place. Those are really hard to find. Gotcha. And we kind of wanted those weapons to be kind of that hard-to-find treasure.
Well, that makes a lot of sense.
Here's a good question for Mark from Fall Down Go Boom. Has Mark ever found a weapon in his barn that was too ridiculous to add to the game?
If you give me a second, I will bring one up.
What?
Because yeah, I've got this. I think it's a scythe of some sort. The handles are just too ridiculous for us to actually carry, but it is a super cool weapon. I wish we could figure out a way to get it in, but it looks like it would hurt super bad. But yeah, the handles are just too awkward for our rig to handle.
So Undead Toad is asking whether or not we're going to, there are other secret weapons besides the rare weapons. We actually have had a bunch of secret weapons in the game for a while, and we're going to get on to some of those. There's actually more weapons that we released with the Homecoming update than what you're going to see just coming from Trumbull Valley, but we're going to get there in a little bit. The next one we should, let's look at what Alberta here has on her person. So she has got this pretty fancy looking little gun. The AKS-74U, not the Valentine version. Who wants to tell us something about this gun?
Well, it was common in, I mean, it's a super common gun in games. You see it a lot in like the Call of Duty series stuff. So when the Valentine came out, a lot of people, especially on the weapons forum, were like, well, why didn't you make one sort of in the classic mold instead of making it all pink? And of course, I revel in not giving the fans what they want. So so we waited a little while, and this one needed to get put in though, because it's a Dan, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think this was originally meant for Spetsnaz and airborne troops.
Exactly. Yeah.
So
you collapse it and jump out of an airplane with it.
Yeah, and it's a smaller round. It was the Russians noted that NATO was switching over from the 7.62s over to the 5.56s, so they made this series of rifle, the 74s, in 5.45s. But we've, to make it easy on people, we made it 5.56 as well.
Yeah, you don't want to have a one ammo caliber that is only for one particular gun in the game. That wouldn't be that wouldn't work very well.
Yeah.
So pretty close anyway. And then it looks like she's got something else on her backpack too. This ridiculous thing. So this looks like it might have been Jurassic Junction inspired. Is that right?
It says it has the logo on the side. Mark?
That one is just, that is the jawbone sword. It could be a sword, sure. It's got teeth on it. But it's just one of those things, like if you're driving through the middle of Montana or something like that, and you find some, little craft shop, they'll have like a bunch of kitschy little items that, someone has made. And so we just wanted something that it just seemed primitive. And so that's what that is.
Maybe I'll save this Juggernaut for later.
Yeah. You're about to pick a fight you might not win.
Yeah, I need to make sure that I've got the right weapon in store before I go after that guy. Okay, so let's look at somebody else. Let's see what Harley's got. Oh, this is an old favorite. Harley has got the SVD. I don't know, Dan, do you want to give us a little bit of background on this one?
Sure. This is the Dragunov's sniper weapon. Honestly, I'm probably, of the three of us, I'm the one that knows the least about it.
Oh, really? I assumed sorry. Whoever wants to talk about it, go right ahead.
So yeah, I modeled it. It's got composite wood stock. The stock is the craziest thing I've ever seen on a firearm. It's super complicated, but it just looks super cool. It was their sniper rifle that they would just give to their troops. I don't even think, they made it so you couldn't get it in the United States. And some of them managed to find their way here. But they are super rare. It's got the most ridiculous scope mount I've ever seen in my entire life. But it's super cool looking. And it's one of those things that everyone wants a Dragunov in their game. I'm not sure just because it has the word dragon in the title, but
I
it's
think
just
so.
a super cool looking iconic gun.
Yeah, I remember it from Max Payne. That was the first time I ever heard of the Dragunov, was playing
Oh, yeah.
Max Payne. But it was my favorite gun. Oh crap. So I'm gonna be in a lot of trouble for a second here, but maybe I'll do as much damage with this Dragunov as I possibly can, and then switch to a different character. No, I'm not trying to get that. Oh my gosh, they're getting in now. Okay, I was trying to close the door.
Oh, they have doubled.
You've got three.
There's
there's
three
three,
Juggernauts.
yeah.
What the crap is going on? You know what I needed? I probably should have set up the Haven device before I started going with this. Hopefully I can do enough damage. Okay, I'm out of bullets.
It wouldn't be a Geoffrey stream unless something went off the rails.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Let's switch to Kyle.
Definitely a target-rich environment now.
Oh yes, absolutely. So Kyle has got a different gun. He's got the MCX Osprey. While I'm trying not to die, anybody want to tell me about the MCX Osprey?
Yeah, it's like a really robust modular rifle, and stuff like that. Again, back with the Red Talon theme, it would be a cool like modern rifle to add to the game. There's all kinds of different parts, and we couldn't decide which configuration we wanted to put in the game, but
I love that rifle, by the way, Dan. I'm running with it right now with my favorite character.
and shout out to audio team. I think Jordan did the audio for these. They sound really good suppressed too. So get yourself a professional silencer and throw it on there.
Yeah,
and
maybe I should have used a suppressor before when I was picking this fight.
Hindsight is 20/20, Geoffrey.
Yeah. Wait, did they get the Juggy? I think they might have.
All three?
Yeah, we got this dead one over here, this dead one. I think I left the other one in this room. I think the other guys might have. Oh, there he is. Yeah, we've got a new cushion here in our in our little hangout space. Oh right. Well, that went okay. I think. I'm happy with that.
So here's a question that I will be able to answer. Will you guys put new clothes styles on the zombies? No.
We probably have bigger fish to fry out there than.
No, because
Zombies
zombies
don't
don't.
go shopping.
Yeah, they don't go shopping. Zombies don't care what they look like. They're just happy to be who they
They're
are.
lucky they have clothes.
Yeah,
We could
exactly.
all-
You
we could
are
all
lucky
learn.
they have clothes on.
Except for the bloater.
Except for the bloater. I saw this great video. Somebody, I think it was La Coalition or somebody, posted it on Twitter of like they played some like dance music, some like really kind of romantic dance music while watching the bloater saunter around.
You
it
said
was-
great video, and that was one of the most disturbing things I've seen in a long time.
It was nuts. Okay,
Was it
so-
rabbit saxophone music?
It was something like that. It was. I think it might have been like Latin music or something, but it was. Yeah, I don't remember exactly what the music was, but it was hot. It was pretty hot.
Yeah, they centered on his little butt.
The whole video was basically about the butt.
Yeah,
The
shaking his whole
thing that
money
got
maker.
us the nudity rating from the ESRB. It was amazing.
That's right. It's on the box.
So we've gone over all of these network and Red Talon inspired weapons. Oh, but there. Oh, actually, wait a minute. No. There's one I skipped. I skipped one. I think Harley had it. Oh, I've got some people with. Diseases. Oh yeah. So I was gonna talk about this when I got the Dragunov out, but then I got distracted. So look at this caveman club. Now, I don't know if this is actually historically accurate, coming from a dinosaur-themed.
No. Hard no.
But what was? Tell me a little bit about this thing. Is it another kitschy souvenir piece?
We joked in the office that they would have a box out front or a barrel. They would just all be sticking out of it, and people would just come by and grab it for $29.99.
And everybody can just
So-
get into basically sword fights out in front.
Hit your kid's sister with a rock on the end of a stick. You know?
Exactly. So I think that was now the final weapon that is like exclusively available in Trumbull Valley. So I didn't want to mess that up. So there we go. There are the stats on it. Of course, there are people out there, because we're talking about this stuff so late after the release of the Homecoming update. There are YouTubers out there who have already talked about all of these weapons. But I love the fact that you folks can sort of give people insight into the inspiration behind these things. Why we put them in the game. How, what the thinking is behind assigning them to Red Talon or the network. So I really appreciate that.
Do we have the feedback?
Geoffrey, there is one that we haven't discussed yet.
Which one? Did I forget one?
Yes. Sea bass.
Oh, right. Are you talking about the lost weapons?
No.
Oh, sea bass is exclusive to this map.
Oh, have I might have, it might not have made the, did I miss it from the list? I think I might have missed it from the list. Hold on a second. Let me switch over to, I'm just going to look at Brant's face while I use the, no. You asked for it. The sea bass. Okay, so I think that was not on my list. So let me look for that sucker.
Not on the list.
And since we've already warned people about spoilers, if you want to find sea bass, very thoroughly search the area around the Wilkerson's destroyed home.
Oh, look at that sucker! No step on a snake. No step on snack. So that is a color of wood that I have not seen on any of our guns so far.
Yeah, it's just washed out gray wood. It's also composite, similar to the Dragunov.
Gotcha. So it's a lever action rifle.
Some work on there on the side.
It's a lever action rifle, and there's a nice texture on the actual lever itself. It looks almost like you'd want to punch someone in the face with it.
A lot of guys put like paracord braid on the lever bit because it kind of racks your knuckles as you're going in and out, and so they put a little padding on there just to save their knuckles.
Oh, that makes sense. Oh, cool. Okay, well, I wasn't even aware of that one. I think that was an even deeper cut than a lot of these other sort of surprise reward weapons. Cool. Well, I'm glad you caught that, Brant.
Cowboy lever actions out there, and it was a shame just to have all the animations and not put another lever action. So we decided to put that out there. It's got a modern red dot on there.
Oh, that's right.
And it's a modern lever action rifle.
Oh yeah, it's got some nice range on it too. When I looked at it, I imagined it might be a shotgun, but no, that is a nice, accurate long-range rifle.
And that is in 357, I think.
Yeah, it is 357. Sweet. Well, thank you for reminding me about that, so we didn't get away without showing that one. But we've got some other stuff to share. So, let's see here. How do I want to introduce this? So let me switch over to a different character here. So when we develop the bounty packs, a lot of the time we will come up with, oh no, Geronimo died. Oh no, get him. I'm pretty sure that my survivor here has also got blood plague. So let's quickly heal her before she gets into too much trouble.
So the one that had all the special stuff is no longer with us?
No. I've still got some special stuff over here. So,
okay.
So this character right here, she's the one that I did not give Trumbull exclusive items to. So what I was going to say before is that when we're developing the bounty pack weapons, sometimes we'll develop more weapons than we need because you guys are just like prolific and you just sort of like, you sweat extra guns and weapons when you get stressed out. And so we end up with just more than we can use. And so we actually had a little pile of weapons that was just sort of waiting for the right opportunity to come into the game. And so while we were, setting stuff up for the Homecoming update, we threw a bunch of these little extras into the game. So this character is actually carrying all of them. So why don't we start with the Kanabo, which she's got on her back. I hope I'm pronouncing it that right. What is this?
That is a Japanese, just a big club. I think it's for like smacking people off of horses.
That makes sense.
It is. I mean, the proportions aren't period correct just because we have certain limitations. But yeah, that is a Japanese Kanobo, and I mean it's just a cool looking weapon.
Yeah, so, no, it is ridiculous.
I just made it one day, and it kind of got dropped off the list, and fortunately, we were able to get around to it. throw it in there.
And then what is
It
this?
is a heavy weapon.
I would say, what is this beautiful white assault rifle that she's got on her back?
That is the USC, so it's basically a civilian version of the UMP. So it's got a standard 16-inch barrel, and it is semi-automatic, so it doesn't have the fully automatic function. That's what makes it civilian.
Which is
but it
fine.
comes in this really cool kind of marine light gray. And I just love the color that it comes in, so I was glad we got to be able to put that in it as well.
Well, unfortunately, I don't have an infirmary in this space because I was trying to show off too many different facilities. So I'm just losing characters left and right. It's amazing.
I did the exact same thing. I put in the Haven device. I'm like, wait a second. I don't have an infirmary. Oh no.
I've just lost 2 characters in rapid fire.
Oh no.
Oh gosh. All right. Well,
So yeah, if you've seen the Doomsday, this is kind of the base model of the Doomsday.
Oh, got it. Okay, that makes sense. Okay, so she's also got this pistol, the PPQM2. Is that one of the ones that we had on the list?
Yes.
Okay, cool. Yeah, tell me about that one.
We had a 45 version in one of the packs, but natively it's a 9mm. It's a Walther PPQ, and it's something from my personal collection, so I just made it one day. And but yeah, it just didn't make it on the list, and now it is. It's also got an OD green polymer frame to it, so if you need to complete your green collection, we got you covered.
Oh yeah, you're right. It does have that sort of green tone to it. What
Yep.
What the heck? Why did I go into Nightmare? This was insane. This was a very bad decision. Here, I'll let you all. Ah, no! I'll let you all deal with this guy. Climb ladder.
Oh boy.
My entire community's gonna wipe. It's gonna be amazing.
It's good thing you planted melons, though.
Yeah, exactly. So, this is the Sea and Sky shotgun. That one's been sitting in the background for a while. In fact, I've used it on a couple of streams without realizing that it wasn't actually in the game yet. Because it's just got such a beautiful name. Who wants to tell me a little bit about this gun?
So, I have a thing for shotguns. I absolutely adore them. So in making some of our shotguns, I wanted to do one that was a marine. When they make it a marine shotgun, they put that stainless steel on it so it can handle being around saltwater environments, and I just like the look. And then I don't know, the name just sort of came. Sea and Sky. I don't know. There's nothing really interesting about it other than that it's got some aftermarket furniture on it, and it is also an Easter egg for one of our beloved community members.
Oh yeah.
But it was just one of those things that was sitting around. We didn't need another shotgun at the time, so it just sort of sat. I feel bad because most of the lost, quote unquote, lost weapons were Mark's, and I hope Mark never felt like it was personal. But 99% of the lost weapons were things that he made.
Okay, I'm actually going to cure my survivor this time rather than just letting them die. What else have we got here? So we've got the classic SKS. Now, do we already have an SKS in the game?
Got 2.
There we
We
go.
got 2, and we made basically the off-brand that has basically an AK mag, and then we have the Hunter version that's got the scope on it. But for some reason, the stock model just never made it in, and so we just fixed the glitch, and now it's in, and so you can get your stock. And there used to be a time where you could find that gun in every gun shop, pawn shop, basement. They were a very prolific rifle, and
For like $200
them, and they disappeared.
Yeah.
Every outhouse and doghouse.
Yeah, now you can't get one for under $1,000, and they used to be like $250 because they're one of the most prolific rifles in the world.
And they were slightly less popular because the AK kind of overshadowed them, and so they kind of sat on the shelves. But man, if you want something that is just a good sturdy rifle, they're kind of hard to beat.
Okay, I'm gonna deal with this problem for a second. But looks like, okay, so right here I've got the Black Hawk revolver. Oh, okay, knock that guy down. I don't have a lot of bullets for it, but this one, I feel like this one's been in the game for a long time.
Yeah. So I'm the Renegado, right?
Something like that, yeah. That's one of the open range revolvers.
Yeah, the
Yeah,
Renegado.
I made a zombified, blood-plagued revolver, and this is like a modern, clean version of that same gun. So it's just a different look. And we thought that our weapon library was already extensive, but I just like the way it looked. I thought it looked cool and had a neat silhouette. So you guys can decide if it's worth hanging on to or not. But I wish if we had a, I'm not even going to say it, but if you had a Renegado and you had a Black Hawk, you could run them.
Kimbo.
It would pair well with the sea bass.
Yeah, it would be a great sidearm for sea bass. I think they're both pretty better. So.
I like that you guys talk about pairing guns together like we're at a wine tasting or something like that.
This is what we sit around talking about when we get together.
If there was a firearms sommelier, I think that's what we would be. Yeah.
There's a question, are these from Scooby556, are these random drops or rewards only?
These are just, yeah, go ahead, you tell.
So the lost weapons are going into just Gen Pop loot, with one exception that we'll talk about
probably later on.
Yeah, these just, start digging, start looting, because this is where you'll find them. I still haven't found several of the guns. So the one of the problems with how many guns we've made for this game is that the more we add, the more diluted the guns, the random gun finds get. So it's harder and harder to find guns, specific guns.
The common guns become less common.
Okay, so without further ado, so I think, okay, have I shown all of these? Oh, the one I haven't shown yet, I think, is the gladius. So now I've armed her with this sword. So this is like one of the probably older historical weapons in the game.
Yeah, I love the gladius. I think it would be a great anti-zombie weapon just because it's kind of short, super sharp,
close
good for
quarters,
slicing, good for stabbing. And so I just made one day, and it just didn't really fit in any of the packs, and just kind of sat there. I can imagine it's one of those where someone watched Forged in Fire and was like, I'm going to make me one of those. And they just made it, and then someone found someone's collection in the basement or something like that.
That makes sense. I was gonna say, like, has it just been, is it from like an ancient Roman zombie fighter or something like that? It dates back to long ago.
I'd say it's probably a modern remake.
Yeah, but that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah. Just a recreation of something that would be authentic.
So yeah, Scooby556, yeah, these things are all available in regular old loot. You don't even have to be in Trumbull Valley to get this stuff. If you're in Cascade Hills or Meager Valley or any of our old maps, you can totally find all of these same weapons. I love the hilt on this one, by the way. I haven't even looked at it this closely yet. That thing is gorgeous. It's positively Baroque, though not literally. It's a lot of decor on that sucker. Anyway, these are really cool weapons, so I'm really glad that we sort of rounded these suckers up and got all of them into the game, because like Brant was saying, whenever you guys make a weapon and then for whatever reason we don't find the right opportunity to put it into whatever, pack we're working on or something like that, I feel bad about, just all that extra work just kind of getting lost. So I'm really glad that we sort of found the right opportunity to put this stuff into the game, because I mean, I've already seen players, like reporting that they found these weapons, they're surprised by them, because they weren't part of any of our promotional materials or anything like that. But yeah, I've been seeing a lot of love for these weapons, from players of the game. So, good show. All right, so Weapons and outfits are not the only thing that we've added to the game in the in Trumbull Valley. There's actually a few more rewards that we can show off right now. Except, oh my gosh, I've got almost nobody left. Harley has blood plague. Okay, let's switch to Harley. I've gotten everyone killed. Okay. Oh, he's got 50 seconds left. Harley, get out of your chair faster. Come on. Where's the supply locker? Let's go. Supply locker, supply locker. Okay, let's heal. Oh my gosh.
Wow.
Oh, so much better. So much better. Okay.
Seconds.
I had seconds left. It was amazing. Okay, so let's go get Harley in some more trouble. So there are a few other sort of not traditional rewards that you can find in Trumbull Valley, and these are the ones that we've been sort of holding out on for the longest because we wanted to make sure people got the chance to discover these on their own. So one of these is the Wilkerson's Special Reserve. So the Wilkerson Special Reserve, it's a consumable, it's a throwable, and you can get it from Mickey. There's a few times in Mickey Wilkerson's storyline where you can pick it up, and then once Mickey has kind of settled down towards the end of his story, you can buy this from him by visiting him at his enclave. But basically, it's a lot like a lot of other fire weapons with a little bit of an exception, which is if you toss it up into the air, it's actually got a really short fuse, so it can explode in the air, do a little fire burst, and then rain fire over a larger area than it could reach on its own, which is a really clever use. So I don't think we had to actually add new features to make this possible. This is just using the same features that we've always had, in our weapon system, but we had never combined them in quite this way. I don't know. I find this to be a really clever sort of expansion of our, or sort of, I guess, abuse of our of our throwable system.
Well, hey, when you don't have a lot of support to make new things because we're operating on a much smaller, as a smaller team nowadays, you use what you got. And
Yeah.
so we did have timing on explosives, and so it was really easy to make that work. There was no added coding or anything that had to happen there. So.
Oh crap!
You do notice that it did impact. It blew up on
barrels!
impact there.
Barrels! Oh no! Barrels! Ah! What the heck?
Get on the car. Get on the car, man.
I can't! I'm not good at this game. Oh, and now I'm out of bullets. Oh, okay, well. Oh, did I make it? What the heck? How did I make it? No, get off me. Okay, I'll get on the car. Oh. Okay.
Wow.
No, he's up there with me. What? No. Oh, you
Man,
horrible
what a way to go.
monster.
What a way to go.
Oh, this is perfect.
Oh, man. Okay. So,
He had 9 lives, man.
apparently, so I think I might need, at some point, I was planning on showing off the Haven device a little bit later. That's not going to work if get off me, you jerk. Come on.
Oh, we get to see a community wipe today.
Yeah, apparently. So, I built this community specifically to show off the Haven device. I'll be very annoyed if I lose them. Okay. I think that's everybody.
This makes for good TV, though, Geoffrey.
Oh, yeah, okay, so while somebody's got my back here inside the base, let's close the door, keep the zombies out for a second. Oh my gosh! Okay, you know what? We're just gonna look at Brant for a second. While let's just clear out all the zombies for just a moment.
I'll pantomime the chaos going on with interpretive dance.
Interpretive dance, yeah.
Exactly. Okay, so no more random zombies. I think we're good. The combat music started right before I cleared up the zombies, and so it's gonna think we're in combat for a second, but I think we're not. Okay, good. No more random zombies. Let's talk about base facilities. So I think I might have to. No, okay, good. So there's a couple of base augmentations that you can get for playing through the storylines of Trumbull Valley. One of them is Tressy's Grow Chem. Tressy's Grow Chem, the Trumbull Valley Grow Chem, is a special fertilizer that Tressy develops from investigating the plague walls and the plague hearts and stuff, and learning biological facts that make her that make her able to create a chemical that grows plants really well. Because you'll notice as we transition from the Heartland version of the map to the core version of Trumbull Valley, all of the plague walls have become overgrown, and so she's like, there's something about this stuff that makes it really good for growing plants, and I'm going to figure it out. So that's what her whole deal is about. So when you complete Tressy's mission, you end up with this Trumbull Valley Grow Chem, which means you can actually, I believe that you double, so you basically double the output of your gardens. So I'm going to kick that in. So right now that does, my garden is doing 1.5 food per day. Once that Grow Chem kicks in, it should be doing 3 food a day. And I've actually been using that in my my own game that I'm playing, on my own time. I've got a community of 12 characters. It's really hard, and they're playing on Dread. It's really hard to keep them all fed. But I've only got the one farm that between Tressy's Grow Chem and and sort of, piling on the seeds, I can feed almost that entire community with just the one farm. And so it's a really powerful, powerful piece of hardware. It's not the most violent and action-packed thing, but it's actually really, really effective at keeping your people alive.
Speaking of keeping your people alive,
yes.
Desmond Bailey says, "Build an infirmary right now."
Well, unfortunately, I'm trying to demonstrate the Grow Chem, and that's the only extra slot that I have. I do have this large slot over here that I could use at the Red Talon fob, but I've got another use in mind for this slot.
And Marcus the Bear Hunter says, "Don't use guns without silencers on Nightmare or higher," which I tend to agree with him.
Oh yeah, no, I am playing the game badly. That's not the point of this stream.
Okay.
We're not watching the stream to watch me play well. We're watching the stream to watch me get into nonsense, and so that's what we're doing here.
Every single time I cheat a weapon, I cheat it with a silencer.
That makes perfect sense. You're doing it right. Okay, so but one of the biggest, splashiest rewards you get for Trumbull Valley, one thing that we're kind of thinking that a lot of folks will take their communities to Trumbull Valley just to get this and then go and play somewhere else later on, is the Haven device. So we've been thinking about something like the Haven device for literal years. In fact, back during State of Decay 1, when we were working on the idea of Cleo and what her potential was as a character throughout the series, this was one of the things we always thought she might be able to do. But we didn't find the right occasion to actually make it happen until now. One of the things we really wanted to accomplish with Trumbull Valley was to tie up a lot of these dangling threads of storylines, because Cleo was a dangling storyline thread that we left in State of Decay 1. And we left that open and we wanted to pick it up in State of Decay 2, but it's taken us a while. And so rather than leaving another bunch of cliffhangers for the transition between this game and its eventual sequel, we decided to start wrapping these things up and sort of seeing where these, letting these characters reach their maximum potential. And so with Cleo, if you complete Cleo's storyline, as hopefully a lot of you know already, you get the ability to build the Haven device. So the Haven device is this thing. Actually, as this thing starts to come together, let's look. So in the middle of this, at the core of this, is something that I believe Mark built. This is the Cleo core that you get in one of the earliest Cleo missions in order to make it possible to copy Cleo down from her satellite network. And I think I can imagine what some of the inspiration for this might have been, but do you want to talk about it a little bit, Mark, what you had in mind as you built this Cleo core?
So I got a design from our art director, Kevin Hunn, who is now on to 3, but he designed that for me, and I think it was loosely based on the Terminator cubes.
Yeah, I believe so.
But now it's jolly candy-like red, and it's supposed to be something that looks kind of alien, a little bit mysterious. And so yeah, you'll see these cubes kind of scattered all over the place. And so this is the guts of what is inside of one of those mysterious little Cleo missile tower thingies.
So I'm pretty sure I'm going to get the characters on the ground over there completely killed over the course of this, but because once you, like any Cleo technology that we've had throughout the game, whenever you trigger it, it attracts a zillion zombies. And so in this case, the Haven device's purpose is to ward off zombies, but before it can get into before it's fully operational, it actually attracts zombies like crazy. And so when you build it, you have to play through one of the harder sieges in the game. It's especially hard if you're really bad at firing a gun and staying on a platform, which is a skill limitation that I have as a player in this game. So we had the Clio core first, but then Brant, you needed to put together this entire piece of art. In fact, 2 versions of it. The one right here that we're seeing, where the Haven device is not yet fully up and running, and then you also had to build a second version for when it is fully up and running. Basically, what do you want to say about it?
Oh, I mean, I just, we didn't make too many more new props for this, so I took a lot of stuff that was already made and just repurposed it for the structure. I took Mark's cool models that he made for the Clio stuff and sort of just jammed them all together. If anybody's familiar with how Star Wars made their spaceships, is called kit bashing, and that's basically what I did, was just take random pieces. If you were to really look at the guts of that Clio device, it's made up of a whole bunch of stuff that can be found elsewhere in the world. But that's half the fun of making this stuff nowadays, is just repurposing our stuff. But yeah, we thankfully got some really great support from John Gronquist, our effects person, to do the lighting and stuff like that on that too. So it was definitely a group effort. There's some great audio that goes with it.
Oh yeah, I can't wait to hear some of that. So right now, we're trying to defend our home until the Clio device is complete, the Haven device is complete. It is almost there. We got 30 seconds left. So I've deliberately not done a good job of fighting these zombies because I want to see the Haven device, kick into action pretty soon. So I'm letting these screamers attract as many zombies as we can because we want to see what happens. Oh no, Jesse died! Oh no! Oh, what a horrible, surprising turn of events. Any second now, Haven device is going to kick in.
If you're in if you're in Geoffrey's community, you're not long for this world.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, so the Haven device has just turned on. So now, suddenly, within the base, zombies' heads are just miraculously exploding. The larger zombies, like the juggernauts and the ferals, they end up taking a little bit longer to kill. So the individual zombies, they basically get killed in only a couple of hits from the Haven device. The juggernaut takes a little longer, but eventually he goes. So right now, because I don't have power and water, the Haven device is a little more expensive to run, and it's not quite as effective. It only works within the bounds of the base. If I had it powered, then it would actually reach the entire safe area outside the base. Let's not be killed by bloaters, thanks. It would reach the entire safe area outside the base, and so zombies wouldn't be able to get anywhere near us. But either way, not only does the Haven device have this effect destroying the zombies, it also has a little bit of a deterrent effect on them, which means that you've got no risk at your base, which means that there are no sieges that are going to happen. So now that we've survived this one siege, there are no natural sieges that are going to occur at our base, which is great because I think I only have one person left. This is now a solo community. So, yeah, I'm glad to have the backup from Clio. Thank you, Clio. You're now my only friend who's survived. But one thing that does mean is that, for instance, I've got, here at the Red Talon fob, I've got this piece of hardware. I've got the Clio relay, which, the way that the Clio relay, which is, this is a reward from Daybreak, typically, that you can also get it here at the Red Talon Daybreak fob. It causes a siege followed by a Clio drop that you can go out and collect. And so if you've got the Haven device and a Clio relay, you can use the Clio relay as much as you want, and the zombies that come in and attack you are just going to get killed by the Haven device. I was actually going to show that, but we've only got 6 minutes left, and so maybe I shouldn't. But
We still got hats. So many hats.
Oh, yeah. Oh, that's true. So one thing I didn't actually call attention to was the fact that all of these characters, and if you look back at the video where we went over the weapons, all of the characters were wearing the unique outfits from Trumbull Valley. I unfortunately am not in a position to show you all of their outfits right now because they're all dead.
Yeah, that opportunity's gone.
But you can go back and see them. I mean, we've got the chili chonga dog, we've got the Red Talon shirt, we've got the T-Rex espresso, we've also got gas station jackets, from Big Daddy Auto Repair, from Bronto Gas, from Wheel Lock Tires, all of these in-game brands that, I gotta say, like, I think our team is really proud of the in-game brands that we've got. There's lots of games that make them, but I think some of the ones that we have are among the best. You got the T-Rex espresso. No, wait, this is the Jurassic Junction trucker hat with the T-Rex espresso shirt. I think they go well together. There's a little piggy hat. It's pink, beautiful. It goes really well with the hard candy guns. And then over here we've got the Fork in the Road Diner. So there's all kinds of really crazy new content that you can get playing in Trumbull Valley. And of course, a lot of you have already discovered that. You've been playing in here for 3 weeks. But, I'm glad that we kind of got the chance to sit here and talk about it with you all. Because, these folks, Mark and Dan and Brant have been just these incredible contributors to this game, putting together all of these weapons, all these pieces of content. Also, tons of credit goes to Susan, our character artist, who puts together all of these outfits. I mean, we've had this really long run of putting together all of this new content for the game, month in and month out. For a while, you folks were on a monthly cycle, getting us brand new bounty packs all the time. And this game's arsenal of weapons and outfits and stuff is so huge now. And so I think, as a community of players, I think we owe you like a huge debt of gratitude for all the stuff that you've made for us. So thank you very much.
And none of this would have gotten in without the help of Larry Wu and
Thank
Lucy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's true. Larry is the one who put together a lot of the the way that loot is found. Jeff Tuffley also was a designer who put together our discoveries, which is where you find a lot of these weapons. So yeah, there's tons of people contribute to this stuff. But yeah, I wanted to especially highlight the work of you weapon artists, because you've done some really great stuff over the course of this game's development.
I'd love to say that it's tough work, but when the three of us get together to talk about what guns we want to make, we're just like a little knitting circle, all full of glee, coming up with new guns to make.
So, this actually took a little longer than I expected it to. And one thing that I wanted to get onto was going over Hotfix 26.1 and the things that we've added with that. I'm wondering, I wonder if we can get a call from Wonder and Megan about whether it would be okay to for me to sort of let you guys go. Because you guys have given us a lot of your time here. But maybe I could do a little extra segment talking about what went into Hotfix 26.1. And if you guys want to stick around, feel free to do that too. But I don't want to impose on your time. So let's let Wonder let me know in Slack, in our Slack thread, whether or not that's okay. In the meantime, though, I should... okay, Wonder says do it. So, do you guys want to stick around for that? Or do you want to, we can sign off with you guys and I can just do the whole thing for myself? You guys good to stick around?
I'll stick around.
Sure. Sticking around. Okay, great. Well, then, rather than doing a wrap up right now, let's stick around and talk about the hotfix. So let me grab the section of my notes where I talk about the hotfix.
Because nobody puts the hot in hotfix more than Dan Mode.
I thought you were going to say Geoffrey.
Well, I think we've got the beginning of that video segment, so thank you, Brant. So we have been talking about how we wanted to release a hotfix for the Homecoming update for quite some time. We really wanted to make sure that we bashed on it until we were certain that it was going to be 100% an improvement to the game, not introduce any new bugs to it. And so we spent some time with it in the public test realm, making sure it was ready to go. But now it has launched a few days ago. And the hotfix includes just some targeted changes to hit some of the biggest headaches that might have launched with the Homecoming update, starting with the fact that moving maps has now been improved. So now, when you move maps, you can now bring all of the vehicles from your parking slots and the vehicle that you're driving to the exit. That's really important because basically for a long time you've been able to bring all of the vehicles with you that were parked at your base, unless you went to the exit with a vehicle. Then you would add a fifth vehicle to the list, but then when you arrived at the new map, it would only pick 4 vehicles to park at your base. And so randomly, one of the vehicles that you expected to bring with you would be deleted, and you wouldn't have it anymore. And that was garbage. We really wanted to ship this improvement with the Homecoming update because we knew so many people were going to be moving map to get to Trumbull Valley. But unfortunately, it didn't quite make the cut. But it's in now with Hotfix 26.1. So now if you move maps, if you've got 4 cars, which is the maximum number of cars you could have parked at your base, if you've got 4 cars parked at your base and you're driving a car up to the exit, all 5 of those cars will come with you and be parked near the new base that you arrive at in the new map. So
that's how I lost my wizard van.
Yeah, exactly. There's a lot of people. Actually, I've heard multiple people tell stories of having lost a favorite vehicle that way. So we're really sorry about that. And now it's fixed. So please enjoy the new updated experience of moving maps. So the Trumbull Valley missions, we were getting a lot of reports from players that it felt like they were having a lot of trouble firing when they were supposed to. And so we made several fixes in that direction, hoping that we can sort of uncap a lot of those missions. The first thing we did was we had a limit on the number of Trumbull Valley missions that could be active at the same time, so that if you had one already ongoing, it would not spawn another one until you had finished that first mission. So if you had, so basically what that meant was you had a very slow trickle of Trumbull Valley missions, including like the little radio interstitial missions that would happen in between them, and it meant the plot of Trumbull Valley would just be at a crawl for a lot of players, depending on the order in which you decided to tackle them. And so now we've uncapped them, so you can have Tressy's missions, Isby's missions, Hoffman's missions, Mickey's missions, and Ray's missions all going at the same time. There's an overall cap on the number of missions you can have, so you can still hit a limit, but you can have any sort of within reason, have any combination of those going at once. So hopefully, players who were being held up by that in the past will find that the dam has broken and they'll be able to get through more of the story content. There were another couple things that might have been holding it up too. We had a couple of sites that it was possible for plague hearts or enclaves to get into, that would sort of, it would be like a location in the map that was necessary for a mission. And some of those places could be claimed by sort of random factors in the game, like enclaves and plague hearts, and it could potentially mess up the missions. Sometimes a plague heart would arrive and just make a mission way harder than we intended it to be. But sometimes it would be an enclave moving into a place and making it difficult for the missions to work. So we've also recategorized some of those sites so that can't happen anymore. So if you've got a new spawn of the Trumbull Valley map, that shouldn't happen anymore. And then also, let's see here. Breaking the Code, which is Isby's third and final mission, the one where she calls down a bunch of Clio drops and you get to run around and collect a bunch of rewards. That one no longer repeats endlessly. That was kind of it was an extremely minor scripting bug where basically we've got these things under the surface of the game called fate cards, which are basically a deck of cards saying which, that are sort of randomly doling out missions. And one of them, the one that was set up to decide whether or not you could spawn that final Isby mission, was checking the wrong variable to see if that mission had spawned before. So it was checking a mission that was like later on in the series. And so of course it would always find that that mission had not spawned yet. And so it would just spawn the third mission again and again and again. And I think that might actually have been part of what was holding up the story for some players, because not only was that mission spawning again and again, but we could only have one active Trumbull Valley mission at once. So if you had Isby cycling, you basically would get none of the other story content forever. So that is now fixed. Isby's mission no longer repeats, and so I'm hoping that that's going to break the dam open and a flood of Trumbull Valley story content is going to come to those who weren't receiving it. Let us know, though. Go to support.stateofdecay.com if you're still finding it impossible to spawn these Trumbull Valley story missions, because we want to know if there's still a problem. These we've hit the main things that we thought were holding up the missions, but what this could do is solve a lot of the problem and then reveal additional problems that we just didn't know about because they were more rare. So there's that. We've also made some fixes to our landmark outpost. I should switch over into gameplay mode so we can have a look at where that is. So we've got a landmark outpost all the way over here near the dam. And let me, no disrespect to these fine people, but it's called the Echo Lab Research Station. And we had a couple of problems with it. For one thing, if you claimed this outpost, it was not actually triggering the biggest ball of twine in Minnesota achievement, which it was supposed to. So that now has been fixed, and it retroactively applies to anyone who should have received it and hadn't yet. And there was also, I haven't claimed the outpost, so I can't show you this in person, but it has an action on it that multiplied plague samples. And unfortunately, we had a wrong value set in there. And it would basically, you would feed it plague samples and chemicals and just get the same number of plague samples back. And that wasn't a very effective or useful action, so we fixed it. So now it actually gives you the 8 plague samples you're supposed to get from it. In addition, you'll also get bonus plague samples if you've got medical and pathology experts in your community. So that happened, and then finally, this base right here that I'm in, the Red Talon FOB, it had a couple of problems. One of them was that the storage. You see that icon with the box? Sometimes, for some reason, that icon would not show up, and that also made it impossible for you to drop off rucksacks in person. You could still do it from your car if you wanted to, so it wasn't completely broken, but for some players who encountered that bug, it was really annoying, and so we fixed it. Now the storage should work reliably at all Red Talon Daybreak fobs. And also, if, unlike me, you decided to actually build an infirmary in this slot, which is what we actually kind of expect you to do, I've got a garden there, which is a bad decision. But if you had installed an infirmary there, which might have kept my community alive, you might have noticed that you could recruit a Red Talon operator as part of one of the, I think it was the workshop mission. Yeah, so if you're trying to repair your workshop, there's a mission that you can trigger that brings a Red Talon operator into your community, which is wonderful. You can only do it one time, unless you checked them into an infirmary. This is another one of those very minor scripting bugs where there's just a checkbox when I set up an objective when I set up a mission to check and see if you've got a guy that already has a certain expertise in your community. It says, by the way, should I check if they're in the infirmary? And it was set to no instead of yes. And so basically you could check that guy into an infirmary and then trigger the mission again. Then check that guy into the infirmary and trigger the mission again. Then check that guy into the infirmary and trigger the mission again. So you could end up with like 4 of these identical dudes in your community, which was, I'm sure, a lot of fun for the small number of players who actually did it. But that's not how we wanted that to work. And so that has been fixed as well.
Confirmed, Red Talon is cloning soldiers.
Yeah, exactly. And then on top of that, there were several sort of like fixes to the map that went on. There's a couple places where we had collision issues and stuff like that, where we fixed a couple minor things there. But probably one of the biggest fixes to the map was there was a volume that was placed for one of our final missions, one of our legacy missions, the final trader mission. And I've heard a lot of players talking about having run into this, and I am so sorry. Basically, there's a volume that we use to it's in every single map that's designed to mark this is where you spawn the bad guys in the Trader Summit mission. And in most of the other maps, it was placed in a reasonable spot where they would just spawn in and they would come in and attack you when you're at the Trade Summit. But in this map, it was placed directly across a very rough rock wall. From the like a rock retaining wall from the factory. And so the characters would spawn and they'd be like, I don't know how to get to that factory. And they would just give up and run away. And so, but unfortunately, we've got a mission critical area around the factory, so you couldn't chase them down. And so they would just run away, and you'd be like, guys, could you please come and try to murder me? And they would not come and try to murder you, and it was really, really sad. So that is fixed. I moved that volume so that now it's like just down the driveway from the factory. They'll definitely catch up to you at the right time, and you can, kill them to your heart's content. That's it. That's update 26.1. So sorry to all of those players who had to deal with those bugs. We really appreciate your patience. A lot of you waiting 3 whole weeks for this whole hotfix to come out. But it is out now, and so we're really grateful to everybody for sticking with us. And always knowing that, sometimes there's bugs that sneak into this game, and we regret them, and we're kind of embarrassed about them. But we're also here paying attention to what you're saying and fixing them as fast as we can. And so that's a commitment that we've made, and we're sticking with it. I mean, this Homecoming update, again, as always, we've had players ask us, is this the final update? It's such a big update. Is this your last hurrah? No. We're kicking off some new stuff. We've got new updates planned in the future. There's so much support that's still going to be coming in for this game, and it's because you're all out there still playing with us. Because as long as you're there, we want to be here too, making the game better for you and expanding it. So, thank you all. And with that, I don't know. Are we ready to wrap this up, guys?
I think so.
All right. Thank you for staying a little bit of extra time, everybody. Thank you to our moderators, especially Wonder and Megan, for hanging out in the chat a little longer than we planned. We really appreciate it. Dan, you got anything you want to say to the people before we head out?
MRD Gaming says Jeff and Brant should be the Mythbusters for Halloween.
Wow. Okay. Yeah, I think Brant just needs a hat. And I just
I
need
think
to
that
go.
was so awesome.
I just need to go prematurely gray, and we'll be good. Yeah, so that's a great idea. Thank you, Dan, and thank you so much for everything you've contributed to the homecoming update and all of the bounty updates that went before. It's been really,
I just
really
made an
good.
excuse to make a job around things I like. So
Exactly. And
thanks, everybody.
speaking of things we like, Mark Lautenbach, is there anything that you want to say as we go?
Yeah, just thank you for sticking with us through all the game is perfect issues. And I'm so glad you guys are liking the map and exploring and finding cool stuff. And hopefully there'll be many more things to find in the future. And signing off.
And finally, Brant, anything you want to say as we go?
Yeah, I mean, community knows that I love you guys dearly. I would like to say that I'm super proud of the entire team that worked on the homecoming map. It's amazing. You all have done incredible work. I can't name you all right now, but it's one of the best things I've been involved with in my career, and it's a pretty long career. So this team's great. We've got a great community. Hopefully we can continue to provide super awesome stuff for you. So thank you guys.
And yeah, that was so heartfelt. I felt the need to remove your joke nameplate because it was just too disrespectful to the kind words you were saying.
Was it Fart Director?
It was Fart Director, yeah. So thank you so much, Brant.
It's accurate. It's accurate.
Yeah, we all fart, and you just point us in the right direction. It's wonderful. With that, so next, it's not next week, it's 2 weeks from now. It's going to be October. And so, we have a tradition of doing a lot of fun Halloween shenanigans around October, and we've got some big plans in store. So on the 4th, Joe Swarner is going to be hosting the stream, and he's going to be revealing to you the crazy ideas we've got for this year's Halloween. So please show up for that in a couple of weeks, and we will see you all later. Click on our subscribe button. Ring the bell.
Smash that subscribe button, dudes.
Give this video a thumbs up.
Click these links. Comment. Leave us a comment if you have a random thing to say.